Hi guys, how's it going? Welcome to AFU United Uncut. I know what you're thinking. Bloody hell, so many faces on one screen. What the bloody hell's going on, Karthik? Well, this is an absolute chaos of a podcast. This is where your usual host will have their say on a whole magnitude of issues. And God knows what's going to happen on this podcast. I've got Ben, I've got Temmie, I've got Joe, I've got Mark, and I've got Jonathan. Lads, how you doing?
Banter. Cheers, everyone.
Oh,
cheers, folks.
Cheers. Right, yes, cheers.
First drink in 3 months. First drink in 3 months. I want that
First
reminder.
drink in 3 months. Bloody
And he's Irish. Can you believe it? What a shit Irishman you are.
I know. That's why they locked me in my room until I started drinking alcohol. You know, I'm allowed out to see the world now.
Joe, be honest. That's not the only reason why they lock you in your room, mate. let's be honest.
Look, that lawsuit is still in patent pending. Okay, we'll...
Don't mention it.
Don't mention it more.
This is fantastic. Right, everyone who's watching, let us know in the comments what you're drinking, what you having, or eating. You know, you could be eating at this time.
Temmie, is that a WKD? I'm a bit concerned.
This is a Seagram for. I don't know if they have this on the other side of the ocean. You know what I'm saying? But you know, nice little blue top drink.
This is my fucking problem with Temmie. Like, every single thing he does is so fucking cool. We nearly hadn't slag him off that he was drinking Wicked. And then it turns out he's drinking another just similarly coloured, super cool drink. Yeah. Like, this man is impossible.
I can't believe he just called it Wicked.
Well, that's what we call it over this side, all right?
Oh, man. Okay.
Well, I'm on the Coke. A cola.
It's not that topic.
We're past the watershed. Why not?
Right. Someone who's old needs to explain this comment to me.
Motley Crue. Do you really not know Motley Crue?
No.
They were a band. I think.
I love how I said someone who's old explained this to me, and Joe was right on it.
No, I just like culture.
You're digging yourself a hole, Joe. You raced to that too quickly.
I would like to say I am the third oldest here. Okay. So I'm presuming. I just know I'm younger than Mark. Okay. I'm just taking a wild guess on someone else might be older than me.
No.
Motley Crue are a band, basically trying to help. You know,
a band, right? Sound okay. Yeah. We've also got Abdel in the comments. Says looking cool, but there's 6 of us here. Abdel, unless you mean all 6 of us, which is highly doubtful.
How much did you pay him? How much did you pay him?
I don't know. Abdel, you'll get your fiver later. Right, so we're here to have a chat. I don't exactly know what we're going to have a chat about, but I suppose we'll start with the thumbnail. It's talking about Ben's gone. Ben's decided, you know what? This isn't worth it. Sound right then. City then.
Bloody nightmare. Freaking idiot. Scratching at the carpet already. We've been in this new place for about 2 days now. Already ripping up the carpet, the little shit.
Maybe there's gold underneath there. You'll thank him when you find it.
Yeah, it's probably a dead rat. To be fair.
Oh, you live in Liverpool, are you?
Gold. Looking for a pot of gold, these Irishmen, eh?
Yeah. What do you guys think about the thumbnail, by the way? Do you like it?
Yes. Yeah. Creepy Joe. What's up with that?
I think Joe looks great.
I had no say.
We all look good, and Joe looks like a creep. Perfect.
No. Okay. I had no say, all right? I was asked to send a photograph. I sent a photograph which was recently described of me looking quite hot. So I sent that, and then Ben said, no, send another one.
Wait, Joe,
I love how he just threw that.
Who told you that? Joe, who told you that?
Did you tell you that? Or did your mum tell you that?
My mom has never described me as hot, okay?
It's an Irish thing.
Yeah, it could be an Irish thing. I don't know, mate. Sorry.
I didn't realize this sort of, you know, that's the way we were perceived, as our mothers were a bit too encouraging of us. But yeah.
Greg's here. That's some boy band. Love it. Jacob's here by unpopular demand. Hey, I like you, Jacob. Welcome to the podcast. Amy's here. Hello, Amy. I don't think I've ever seen her in the comments before, but
no, Amy, a good Irish person, Amy. Good to have you.
Irish.
Yes.
Ooh, Irish friends.
John O'Shea.
Comment of the day goes to Fred Woodward. Joe looks like the guy from You in the thumbnail. His name is also Joe in the show.
He does.
What is You?
Netflix.
You not seen it?
No.
You got to watch
you need to watch it.
It's about some
Joe.
creepy guy.
It's what Joe does on his Tinder dates.
No, he's not creepy. He's misunderstood. Okay.
It's where Joe gets his.
Isn't the whole premise of the show him walking around finding a girl and killing people who interact with her?
And
Joe.
It's where
I'm
Joe
sorry,
gets-
Temmie. Where's the problem here?
It's where Joe gets his chat-up lines from.
I'm just saying, she will definitely fall in love with me if there's no one else for her to fall in love with, okay? The logic is there. The maths holds up. I'm sorry, guys, if you're too slow for my 21st century brain.
Jonathan, how are you doing, mate? I feel like we're all just going a bit bonkers here, and you're just sipping away at your drink.
Well, I've been drinking for quite a bit, to be honest. So I'm just, I'm at that stage. You know, when you're in a club and you've had like 4 or 5 pints, and then you start getting a bit like somber. That's pretty much where I am at the moment.
I'm going to be honest.
What's that?
I know. I was going to say I can't remember what a club's like.
Neither can I whatsoever. It is very depressing.
Do you know what? If there's one person I'd love to go to a club with in this chat, it is Jonathan. I bet he can outdrink anyone sat on this panel.
It's been a while. Yeah. One day we'll have to do have a bit of a meet-up and do this in person. Definitely.
Yeah, we'll make sure Temmie's in America though. We don't need that much heat on us. Let's be honest.
Speaking of which,
I just love that fucking.
I need to ask a very important question here, Joseph. Where's this T-shirt?
Oh, for fuck's sake! Okay, look, COVID happened, all right, and it's coming. Okay, I'll sort it out tomorrow.
No. Hang on a minit. No, if I had lost that quiz, that T-shirt would have been here like that, right?
Yeah. But like,
how much did Temmie pay you?
He didn't have to pay me. I couldn't put him in that T-shirt. I could easily put you in that T-shirt.
This is nonsense. This is an agenda. You are just in favour of Temmie because you didn't want him to win the quiz, which you showed on that day.
I have no idea what you're talking about with giving a clear Anthony Martial question to someone who hates Anthony Martial, who would never have gotten that question right, which he didn't get it right, and we all very much appreciate that, Temmie. Thank you so much again.
That seems like ages ago. That.
Doesn't
it was a year ago.
Was it?
It was last year.
Thank you.
Yes.
It must have been November, that wasn't it? Maybe
around November.
Oh, November. A lovely time. There was a lot of my house.
I don't think I was around for it. Don't know what you're talking about.
No, you just weren't invited on that show, Mark.
Yeah, sounds about right.
You were about you just weren't invited.
Yeah.
Oh, bloody hell. Stuart's in the comments. Stuart's also here. Evening, boys.
Hey,
Here to bolster things up a bit. Love it. Joe's on a right one tonight. What have you been drinking before this, Joe? Or consuming?
I was watching a very depressing Oscar. Well, not really. It was uplifting in a way. Oscar Best Winning Picture movie, and it ended like you. So that's why I'm you, and I'm generally like you anyway. You know, I keep saying you, and I was coming back. It's coming back to that TV series.
Creepy man.
Moving swiftly on from Joe's creepy antics, Hammer's in the comments, and he's trying to get us to encourage him to drink and drive. No.
Hammer, if real drivers can do it no matter what, okay?
Oh my God. Joe's trying to get us sued here. Bloody hell, why did I agree to host this show? Bloody hell. Hang on a minute. Jacob's trying to bring in quality content. No, go away.
No, go away, Jacob. None of that.
Can I mention one thing, right? I don't know if anyone saw this, but earlier on today, and I did put a tweet out about it, we did a rival fan show with Stephen, Esteemed Company, and Natalie, who does work for City TV. Yeah, Manchester City have a TV channel. We were shocked as well. But Natalie's lovely, by the way. She's fantastic. It was a great conversation, to be fair. But do you know what? I came away from that show, and I couldn't believe how confident City fans are. Not just going into this game on Sunday, but just overall their personas. They're so confident about absolutely everything at the moment. Like they're spitting shit about the fact that this is one of the best City sides they've ever seen. The second half against Wolves was the best 45 minutes of football City fans have ever seen from one of their teams. I know we're going to go into it anyway, Karthik, in a second with a derby, but I'm just wondering if we're going to be facing a City side and a fan base that are overconfident at the moment. And they potentially need bringing down a peg or two. And also that confidence, again, he came and they were speaking to us about the fact that United potentially haven't progressed and we're only in the position we are because of the downfall of everyone else. Well, what about you guys up at the top of the league by 14 points? The rest around you at the moment are, let's be quite frank, shit. Like you're only just showing your quality now halfway through into a season. Where's your confidence coming from? So that would be an interesting one to hit on. I've just put something out on Twitter. So if you guys want to get involved before we get to that, Ben, feel free to send us a tweet.
I'm really sorry that you had to meet both City fans. I didn't realize that the two of them were allowed in a room at one time together. That's very unfortunate for you, Ben. But
they were quite good, actually. To be fair, it was a fun show. To be honest with you, Gaz was with me. It's fine. I had Gaz Drinkwater with me. He had my back.
Gaz is sound. But no, are they not right to be confident? No, let's face it, they are like robots now, aren't they?
No.
I think they deserve to be in that frame of mind, and I think if knowing typical United fans, if we were in that position, we'd feel exactly the same. But they're a very good team, and too many people tried to make a comparison. And Temi and I spoke about this the other day. We tried to make too much of a comparison from United and City, and unfortunately, United are never going to have the.
Well, I think I know what he's saying. The resources, I presume, he started with an order
that City do.
Close.
That was good. I thought I was the one of dial up.
I'm going to come back in.
Cool. No, but speaking of what Mark's saying, we do have the resources. First of all, this isn't the best City side that even under Pep Guardiola. That was the one from a couple of years.
It pushes them close.
No, but like they're still not. If they can be close to be it, I think it's still the 100-point one. That is probably the best ever single season Premier League side because they had the most points, in the season. That kind of what makes it. And how you can say that we don't have the resources, we absolutely do have the resources. We have endless buckets of money that we can pour into. It's just that our owners refuse to. That's the only difference. There is no reason why we can't outspend anyone and approach and bring in the best of everything every single season. The club actively decide not to. That's the difference.
Yeah, I would agree. I would agree with that. I think that a lot of us, City do spend, but they don't spend 100 million pounds on a player like we've done before. Like we spent 89 on Pogba, we spent 80 on Harry. Big money on Di Maria. For the most part, City have done a lot of $30 million deals here, a bunch of $40, $50 million deals. Spread out over a long period of time. They just do it consistently. As opposed to us where we'll spend really big one summer, the next summer we won't do anything. The summer after that, it's just very poor management of the money. You know what I'm saying? Because if you look at our net spend, sorry to cut you off. If you look at the net spend over the past 10 or so, or I should say gross spend, excuse me.
Yeah.
We spent an equivalent amount, like a close amount to them. They've just handled it way better over that spend. You know what I'm saying? So
yeah.
You got to give them credit for that.
Absolutely. And like you're saying, though, Temi, with the players, like they got Gundogan for like 24 million. If you look, I can't remember all the players that came in. Someone put a tweet out and compared them. The difference is players actively want to go to City, while we have to convince players to come to us because we haven't got the same training centres. The stadium isn't as up to scratch as City's is. And they don't have the same, relationship with anything as City do. City have the best PR, best media in the world because they have to, because no one cares about them. Do you know? While with us, it's just we have everything. Our owners are making it that we refuse to let it happen. Let the best, put the best people in the best jobs, bring in the best players. It's an active decision that they're making, and that's why we're in the position. That's why City are as well.
Can I hit on that? I don't know if you guys knew, but last night was the financial quarter for United, and they released their statements and they spoke about it. And one of the highlights that Manchester United pointed out were the fact that Manchester United Football Club is the highest grossing sports team on TikTok.
Yeah.
Up the TikTok Reds.
Up the TikTok Reds. It's just brilliant.
But even on that, if you look at that shows that we have the potential to make all the money in the world. And we have all the money in the world. And they'll say constantly that we can't do this, we can't do that because the money isn't going to come in. We have it there. Just fucking spend it. Do you know?
We was also top of the most socially active as well in February. So that was such a big deal, obviously, for them. It's massive for them. And I don't know why, because we weren't linked to anyone out of the ordinary in February. So I don't know where all those interactions came from. I could understand if it was a transfer market and Sancho's name was going around, but maybe there was a couple, but that's another one. Just touching on what you guys have said about City being overconfident. Are we going to be underconfident, do you think? Are we going to go in there thinking, oh, well, it's a shot in the dark, so we just sit back behind the ball and go forward?
I think we're fucked.
Great. Everyone take a seat.
Thanks for watching, guys.
But John, to answer that question, I think we're going to do what we did the last time we faced them in the 0-0 draw, honestly. And that's sit back, absorb pressure, try and keep a clean sheet, take a draw. If we're being completely blunt here, I think all of us, if we had another 0-0 draw against City, it wouldn't be the worst thing in the world, given the context of, what the season is looking like, how fast. You know, the likes of Chelsea are, you know, flying up the table. Leicester, they're struggling right now, but, you know, I imagine they're going to pick up points here and there. So, like, a draw against City is never a bad result. Even when Sir Alex Ferguson, you know, I feel like everyone thinks we won every game sometimes. But no, sometimes you take some draws. They are much better than us. Let's just call a spade a spade. That we are not on that level. So if, you know, we can win, we can nick it, but let's not sit here and expect us to dominate the ball and play good football, for lack of.
I was going to say, Timmy, actually, I think that Sunday's game, and Mark, this will reflect onto you perfectly, is the only game probably in the last 8 to 10 weeks that I'd sit here and say that we don't have to start the game fast, because the aim of the game for the whole match against City is being patient.
Ben, that's Mark's catchphrase. I wouldn't. That's kind of what that's a thing. Like, so
I know I'm ruining him, and for today. But
he's literally ripping up notes there. Oh God, no.
Yeah, no, he's not. He's not, Joe. He's putting out his hair. That's what he's doing.
It only took 16 minutes, Ben, for you to make a reference. It only took 16 minutes.
The best joke about Mark's hair in the live chat gets an automatic entry into our competition prize draw.
Sorry about that. My work PC was on its knees, so I'm on my personal one now. Apologies.
What was I doing down there?
Going back to what I was saying about City, just very quickly. We can't make a comparison. We're never going to be able to buy enough players to have 2 world-class players like they have. So we have to make do with what we've got, and we're still 4 players off. You know, we didn't expect to be here. I've said this already. We need to take things a step at a time, and we need to try and invest in the summer if we can. And that might be only 1 player here, 1 player there, but we're still a way off. So we should just be grateful that we're in the position we are. And hopefully, you know, if they are overconfident, like you said, that could play into our hands. And wouldn't it be wonderful to beat them this weekend?
Mark, I get what you're saying about the 2 world-class players thing. We don't have the. You know, I think Joe was talking. I think we can financially compete with them if we wanted to. That's one thing, right?
But it's not going to happen.
Exactly.
It's not going to happen.
And fair enough. That being, and I hear that completely. But the way City don't necessarily buy world-class players, like fresh world-class players right out of the game. You know what I'm saying? Gundogan, yes, he was a top player when he got there. Ferran Torres, young. Sterling he was an exciting talent. I wouldn't have called him world-class. He's still not world-class. They have top players. I don't throw out the word world class very lightly. I would say they have 2 or 3 world class players.
Who would you say, Timmy?
But the difference is, and in the last few years, Liverpool and City have used analytics in order to buy their players. Yeah. They've literally looked at a player, see what fits, and they bought them, and it works off. Salah for Liverpool wasn't their main signing. It was supposed to be.
The important part of that is they look at stats that suit their system, which is something that we don't do a lot.
No, but that's something United are looking into doing and bringing in very soon. And obviously, this is the whole restructure of Ollie, isn't it? He's come in, he's tried to restructure it from the top down, and it has improved over the last few years. And unfortunately, it's come a little bit too late. So we are looking at trying to improve it now, trying to get better now. And really, we should have done this 5-6 years ago, and we wouldn't be in this position. So I'm not saying
a big part of that, Mark. Sorry, just quickly on it. We'll come back. The big part of that is that United have historically never had a very good scouting network. Like ever. I think there was even rumours, like even when Sir Alex was manager, that he would just hire his footballing mates to take up scouting roles at the club to be involved. Like quite literally, our scouting has always been quite poor. Again, Ronaldo wasn't extensively scouted. He played one game against United and was just straight in.
John O'Shea signed him,
Ben, the head of scouting. The head of scouting was Alex Ferguson's brother.
And also, I think on that, we can see now, and I just want to go back to a point that Temi sort of made, and I think Joe sort of made as well. I think when it comes to competing with them, so many different elements have to be in play. It's not just about going out there and buying. I think Fred put it like the right players for the right amount of money, or the right players for the right amount of money, whatever that is. It's also about making sure that you've got the foundations in place as a club with our historical foundations to be able to bring the very best of their talent, of their generation through the youth system as well. And I think we can see now more than ever that our best investments over the past 5 years have actually come in the youth sides. And especially in the last 2 years, we've done some really shrewd business, which for me shows that we've started to build a scouting network, and potentially we're doing a bit better business on that side of things. But I don't agree with that, Ugly Bear, so to speak, in the most recent time. I think you've got to have a mixture of both. I'm not saying you've got to rely on one or the other. I think you've got to have a good mixture of both. And I just think that maybe we're missing out. And again, I'll come back to it, though, and Temi might, or anyone else hit on this. Well, I still don't know. I don't think Ollie knows what style of play he actually wants to play at United yet. I still think we're in between styles. So what players fit the mould? I don't know.
I think he does. I think he of course he'll have an idea. I think we've spoken about this many times, but I don't think that his idea is to play a double pivot forever. Temi, you and I spoke about this the other day. I think ultimately he's going to bring in someone that's going to be able to fit the mould of Matic, play as that single pivot, and then that's going to shore up the defence and allow everyone to go forward. That's exactly how they're going to do it. You're
spot on because at the start when he first came in, that's the formation we played.
That's exactly what he did.
It was a 4-3-3, which molded into a diamond at times because the forwards were wide forwards anyway. So that's what he's kind of looking to do.
And you know what? Looking back at it now, and Herrera would have been a perfect man to have kept and to have put into that DM role, because it's no coincidence that when he took him out of the team because he wasn't going to sign a new contract because he was off to PSG, it fell apart. He had that amazing run from when he came in until Ander Herrera was out of the team, and it's such a shame. But hindsight, as I said before, is a wonderful thing.
Herrera, Pogba. Sorry, go on, John.
Yeah, just very quickly, I just want to jump in on that as well. I don't think Ollie gets enough credit for he's having to play with what he's got. So he might not necessarily want to play a certain way. And I know that I'm not going to sit here and say Ollie's doing fantastic, because in some areas he's not. But if you're going to go into war and you're like a country versus a country or whatever it is, you're not going to set yourself up to lose. You're going to play with what you've got. So we made pretty much what you said, Mark. You're not going to set up in a way where you know that you're going to lose. So if he feels that with his current squad, he has to play two holding midfielders or two more defensive midfielders to protect the defence, then that's kind of what he's having to do. That's not the way we want to kind of watch him play, because it's not very attacking, and I can see Temi wants to come in and say something shortly. But I just think that kind of you just have to kind of respect that he hasn't got the players that he wants to probably play the style of play that he may want to play. But do you want to jump in on that one, Temi?
I don't necessarily think that he plays with defensive midfielders, though. Sorry, Temi, I just wanted to make that point. I don't think we play with two CDMs. I don't think that's how we play. But no, go on, Temi. Sorry.
No, I was going to say to that point, the issue I have with that train of thought is, if I look at other top managers, you know what I'm saying? So if I look at the two best in our league right now, I would say are Pep and Klopp, right?
Creme de la creme.
When they came in, right? Brendan Rodgers was playing a 4-1-4-1 or a 4-2-3 with Liverpool. He immediately scrapped that, changed the formation to what he wanted, right? Changed it to that 4-3-3. He had the likes of Jordan Ibe, Alberto Moreno. Just you could just see where the holes were in the side. He played his formation, and then he said, "Listen, he's not good enough here. He's not good enough here. He's not good enough here." Which is,
but Temi, how long?
Go ahead.
How long did that take him though? It took him 3-4 years to get a trophy.
To that point,
people still want to get his formation.
But he played his formation. That's my point.
To that point, though,
his formation until they got him the players in those positions that he needed. Ollie's been playing a 4-2-3-1 now for a year and a half. I feel like he needs. I think in my head, I think I truly believe a 4-2-3-1 is what he wants to do now, because I don't see a manager.
No,
I don't see a manager that long for a year and a half.
Tell me on your point of.
Go ahead.
On your point on Rodgers, with sticking to that formation, going, right, this is what I'm playing, you need to get replaced, that's fine. And I do agree with that. I think that's what Ollie should be doing. But do you think there's something more to it in that upstairs that he knows it's not going to happen? If he points out and goes, I don't want him, don't want him, don't want him, don't want him. Here's a list, go get me them.
No, but he can get one DM. You know what I feel like the big missing piece, right, to play a proper 4-3 is that everyone else can fit in, right? Everyone, we have right wingers, we have left wingers, we have DM issue is the one, right, that has been holding us back from doing that. He's had this is summer would make it his 4th transfer window, and he hasn't addressed that issue. You know what I'm saying? So I think one DM would change that, but he's chosen, to stick with that 4-2-3-1.
But the thing is, when he came in, he had Ander Herrera, as I said. He left. He then had Matic. And at that point, Matic wasn't in particularly good form, but it changed. And he became very much a key to our midfield this season. Unfortunately, this season, he hasn't been very good. And you're right. You would think that they would have been able to address those situations. But the thing is, the difference is with Liverpool, okay, when Jurgen came in, they were very much about investing. They had the money there in order to do that. They've got nothing now, but they've given Jurgen exactly what he wants. This whole time since Ollie's been in, he hasn't really been given what he wanted.
Exactly.
Van der Beek wasn't his first choice. Sancho wasn't.
Do we believe that though?
I don't buy that because here's my thing with that, right? We just talked about investment, how poorly we've invested, and again, this is not a shot at Harry Maguire, but I'm just saying 80 million pounds, right? No matter how good Harry Maguire is, if we properly spread that money, right, in the positions that he wanted. So let's just say we use that 80 million pounds, we use 40 on a DM, we use 35 on a center back, 40 on a center back, right? I feel like he's had from a dollar perspective, I think he's been backed. Outside of this past summer, where the bake thing.
But Temi, hold on for a second. Like in this most recent transfer window, we look at that. Okay, we say Sancho. That was the only person he wanted. He was promised, you get us top 4, you can have that player you want, the marquee, whether it's Sancho or whether it's someone else. Didn't happen. Okay, whether Van der Beek was or wasn't one of his top choices, he wasn't his top choice.
100%.
His top choice was Sancho. So we're going into this where the manager, like, we're lucky that we have Solskjaer, because Solskjaer is someone that can be back and someone who will be given time because he's a legend at the club and he wants the best for United. Because if anyone else was in charge right now, we would have fallen apart and the manager would be gone. It'd be like Mourinho all over again. The problem is when the manager isn't backed, when the manager isn't given the players that he's needed every single time, or at least majority of times, he's been set up to fail. And that is what's happening now. We are in second place.
Sorry.
On the Van der Beek thing, am I the only one who thinks that signing was made to wait until Pogba leaves, get the DM in, and then you've got your 2-8 sorted?
I agree with that. I've
been this for a long time. Go on, sorry.
Because to me, that looks like it's just buy your DM, then you've got Van der Beek, Bruno.
I also think if you have a look at player profile, Van der Beek fits the player profile of the type of signings that Ollie was looking to get. I'm not saying that he probably wouldn't have preferred a Jack Grealish potentially, but I think Jack Grealish and Van der Beek are two completely different footballers. So I don't think you can sort of cast one or the other, sign one or the other. Sorry, Mike. Just my personal opinion on all this, and Joe, I see the point you're trying to make about Sancho, but I actually stand by the decision not to sign Sancho last summer. Maybe not from a footballing perspective, because I think we would have been a better team. But I think if we had gone and got our pants ripped down by Dortmund last summer, especially with the current climate and the crisis we're in, like, it would have been turmoil. It would have been absolute turmoil. I think we can go back in this summer, get him not a lot cheaper, a bit cheaper. And I think it'd be more shrewd business. And I also think us as a club, we're more desperate for that right wing position to be filled now than we ever have been before. So I actually, and with the way that the players and the teams are progressing, I don't think that was such bad business. I think for me, I do tend to, I think this summer's going to be big. I really do, because I think if Ollie doesn't get a defensive midfielder, he doesn't get that right winger, potentially even a centre back, you could say as well. I do think that the board and the recruitment have slightly let him down. I think they need to, but then I can also understand. I would be disappointed, Temi, coming back to your point, I'd be really disappointed this summer if we go for cheap fixes or solutions that potentially aren't at the top of that list. I think Ollie needs to be properly backed.
Can I ask you just one thing, all right? If we didn't get Sancho, okay?
The answer is no. I said no last time.
Just send me a picture at least then.
I've only had one bit.
But look, we look at Sancho the right way, okay? That was Solskjaer's number one target. That's who we are actively crying out for, right? So for the fact that Solskjaer has got us to second place and we're challenging for a little bit with a squad that he's not happy with yet, are we saying that he is overachieved so far this season and that he's doing a very good job?
I don't think so, because I also think you've got to have a look. I said this earlier on to Stephen, who made a very good point on the show, which I can't repeat it all because the guy just Stephen's such a good talker. For a City fan, he's a fantastic talker. Saying that for a City fan is a great talker. But I do agree with him when he says you've got to have a look at a season-by-season basis, and you've got to look in perspective at everything. I don't necessarily see a massive progression with United this year, but what I do see is a massive drop-off from other teams around us. So now's the time to be shrewd. I'm not saying that parts of the club haven't improved, that maybe some patterns of play haven't improved and potentially some players have come on, but I still think the next 3 to 6 weeks are going to be really important when it comes to actually the deciding factor of, hey, have we made any progress this year? Again, I've always said that I would, John, you numpty. I've always said that I think at the end of the season would be the better time to judge Ollie and what we've done this season. Because I also think if we finish second and win a trophy, we can semi-forget what happened in the Champions League. But I also think that if we look back properly and we're all being honest with each other, that Champions League exit and the way it happened was a freaking disaster, an absolute disaster that should have been avoided.
But I just think that the huge issue is for the fact that there's, like we say, Cavani, okay, is the only player that's coming in and that he's bought that is actually taking a place. That is a starting player.
But that's what we said in the summer, though, didn't we, mate? Like I remember us doing a show at the end of the summer, at the end of the window, where we all sat down and went, how many players have we actually signed? And I even said about Tellez as well. I was not convinced that Tellez would come in and get in over Luke Shaw. Obviously, I didn't think Luke Shaw would be this good this season, but I hadn't seen enough of Tellez to think he's coming in as our first choice left back. Yeah. That was my problem at the end of the summer. We didn't really sign anyone who was becoming a first teamer automatically and who would walk into that team and make a difference.
Yeah. But that's my problem is still with that like there's been no improvement. We're still the same team that we were last season, so there's very little that can change because of that. You know, if you're not actually going to bring in players, absolutely, Callum. That's all drink when I drink.
Do you know what? We should go around to everyone and see if we can name an improvement each that we feel like we've seen with this United side this year. Because thinking off the top of your head, it's actually quite difficult. I would probably, just to snip in there, would say the away form I've been really impressed with. I don't think
that's always been good.
But I agree. The negative is the home form is freaking shocking.
Yeah. Ben, if I can just jump in there, I think when you start talking about like achieving and overachieving and exceeding expectations, I think as fans or whoever judges, we could always go into like a minute detail. I think you mentioned earlier, Ben, about judging it at the end of the season is the main thing. Now for me, we don't look at how we shouldn't really, or the record books don't really look at how many you've won when a substitution was made or this, that, and the other. They look at your league position. When it comes to the Premiership, Ollie's judged on league position. That's what it should be judged on. You can talk about style of play and everything else, but if you finish second, it's an improvement. Currently, we're second. If I'm honest, I don't think we'll stay there. I do think we'll slip a little bit. I do appreciate that. But as things stand, he's finished third and he's second at the moment. So to me, that's a good thing. You can talk about, he's very good at this, he's very good at that. But that doesn't matter. If you finish second, and that's good compared to what we've been up against. Is it where we want to go in the future? No. But as things stand, with what we've got, second, I think is amazing with the players that we've got at the moment. But obviously, everyone's got their own opinions on the reasons for that. Is it because other teams have fell off? Yes, but they fell off. We haven't. So I think at the end of the day, there's 19 teams worse than us, and we should be proud of that.
I agree with that. And on Ugly Bears comment, by the way, the problem is that we've done so much better against the top six last season and all these 0-0 draws, like when you go back and look at it. So you say it's an improvement this season that we've done that, but last season we were better against the top six and potentially dropping the points against the lower teams.
That might be a little different in terms of the way we're setting up against these teams. Does anyone see a different way we're setting up? Because I feel sometimes, especially let's say against Chelsea, we played maybe a higher line than we would have last season. Against Liverpool, it was pretty much the same. City at home, there was a bit of a spell where we tried to play on our terms, but we realised it wasn't working. We dropped off. There's times where we look like we're trying to do different things, and then quickly we realise, hang on, we're not there yet. Drop off, and it's like.
But like the majority of those games, we should have won as well. Like we should have beaten Liverpool, we should have beaten Chelsea, we should have beaten who was the other one? Arsenal. Should have beaten Arsenal twice. No. Yeah. Fucking Arsenal.
They were shit.
Yeah.
They are.
I remember having a during the Spurs game at halftime, myself and Temi having a phone call when we were both just screaming at each other. I was in a pub, it was magical, and I was just like, "What is going on?" And you were like, "Bro, I don't know, bro. Everything's falling apart, bro."
Wait a second. Do your impression of Temi again?
I don't do it, bro. We're all bro. We're gonna die, bro. I'm motherfucking Timmy.
I feel like I'm watching the shittest episode of Tornado Hunters ever.
I'm crying. No, but to answer your initial question, I feel like I need to see the end of the season because I feel like there's a lot of stuff that it's the same old stuff. We're hot, then we're cold, then we're hot, then we're cold.
Yes and no.
It's the same thing to me, and I feel like the only way we can truly answer that question properly, like Jonathan said, is for me is league positioning and points, and a trophy. Like I said.
It was a rhetorical question, to be fair. Yeah. It's one of those things off the top of your head that I do agree with Jonathan. You can't really answer to the end of the season. I still think that there's so many positives in terms of where we are right now that we should not be letting that up and we should not be letting that slip. And also, I do feel like, did anyone else see all these comments today? He doesn't feel like we're in a bad run of form. Do we all agree with that necessarily?
Incorrect.
I was going to make a point about that, actually. If you look at it, since we beat Burnley back in January, we were sitting in second and we were 4 points in front of fifth. We're now, because of the rest of the league, because of the rest of the teams are all struggling apart from City, we're now sitting in second and we're 5 points in front of fifth. So actually, we are in a better position. So I can understand what he's saying. No, we are. It's mathematically, we are.
We were closer to City, and now we're what?
But that's not the question, right. Mark. That's not the question. It's are we currently in a bad run of form? Not are we in a better position now?
Yeah.
Like, I get what you're saying,
no,
but
we are. But this is another thing. The way that I look at it is, we brought in 5 players over the summer. If we hadn't have done that, we created more squad depth for us, and if we hadn't have done that, our squad now would be so thin. The reason why we're struggling is because we've got injuries. Van der Beek, Pogba, who's been absolutely resurgent. Cavani for a couple of weeks. Martial. Phil Jones. No, but my point is if we hadn't have brought those 5 players in, whether they were cementing to go first team or not, we would be in a really, really bad position. So that's a positive for me. We brought in enough players in order to cater for that.
Speaking of positive, Joe's gone.
I have our form since we went top of the table, and here it is.
Yeah, I'm looking at it now. Yeah, I'm tweeting
Liverpool 0-0 draw, Fulham win 2-1, Sheffield United lost, Arsenal draw, the big Southampton win, Everton draw that we were in pulp, we were winning that game well. West Brom draw, Newcastle 3-1 win, Chelsea draw, Crystal Palace draw. Pretty mediocre.
But can I also hit on that, Temi, right? If we go through those games and we actually properly look at them, we got out of jail against Fulham.
Yeah.
We obviously against Sheffield United were awful. Again, Arsenal, we didn't create anything. Did we have 2 shots on target that game? Sure. And then obviously we had the 9-0 win against Southampton where they obviously had a player sent off early on. I mean, that's no excuse. Teams get players sent off early on all the time. I still think we were rampant that game and were brilliant. But then, as you said, Everton, to concede like we did in the last minute, poor against West Brom, so poor against West Brom. Newcastle, we played well. And I remember, Mark, we spoke about this. I'm sure we did. We probably played well for 20 minutes that game. We got out of second gear for the last 20, 30 minutes of that game.
There was 2 in that game. When we
Newcastle.
Yeah, we didn't play well there at all, really.
I mean, if things had gone ever so slightly different, we could have easily lost that game.
Yeah, and then last 2, we've created absolutely nothing, really. For me, that's the worry. I mean, I don't think a bad run of form is, so to speak, reflective all the time in the results. I think it's in the way you play sometimes too. And I think we've actually, again, a positive potentially is that we're managing to get a point, I can't believe I'm saying this, away to West Brom or against some of these teams in these games, which we potentially would have lost last Christmas when we were going through bad patches of form and confidence was low. So, yeah, I don't know. I think we are in a bad rut of form. But again, I think that a win on Sunday can get us, on a good run. Because Ollie's good at, whenever shit hits the fan with Ollie, he finds a way to pull us out of it and go on a good run. And that's what we need now. We need a good run.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah.
We're going to lose on Sunday.
On the show yesterday, I said that, this is the type of game where, when the books say we're going to lose pretty bad, and then we end up, you put a tenner on it and you win $100. So,
as Ollie said 3-4 weeks ago, we couldn't defend and did really well attacking wise. That was the narrative anyway. If it is now the reverse, we are just lacking the spark in the attack. What do you make of that comment?
Do we think that we lack? Sorry, very quickly. Do you think we lack the spark in attack because we just concentrated too much on keeping a clean sheet?
Maybe.
Do you think?
No, I just don't think we have enough going forward. I think we haven't attacked well all season, bar 1 or 2 games when it just kind of fell to place, like Leeds and Southampton, we haven't really been outscoring teams, and Leipzig as well. So I just think there's not enough creative force up there, and that's why it's not working.
Yeah, I don't think we're overcompensating for the defence. I don't believe that. But I think what's happened is Bruno's not been on form, and that's very evident. He hasn't been very good now for a month. Pogba's obviously out, been one of our most creative players in the last 3 months. And when those two are there, we've got no one as that replacement. Van der Beek, unfortunately, was injured at the wrong time to be able to come in at the game against Palace the other day. So I think that, not everybody's been on form. Our strikers, Rashford's been pretty poor, but we've been very reliant upon him. And again, this kind of alludes to the fact we need to get more players in the summer, even creative ones. I still feel that we need another creative one.
Are you saying we don't have enough to get points against the likes of, or 3 points against the likes of West Brom?
No, I'm not saying that. But the only way our team can work to an attacking prowess is through Bruno and Pogba. They are our central keys in order to do that. And he's injured and Bruno's not on form. So
and Bruno's not on form because Pogba's not there as well. Bruno is able to do far more. There's far more space from when there's an equal threat to his left-hand side that can do as much as he can do, different ways that it frees up Bruno even more. So when you don't have Pogba, then Bruno isn't the player he is, So we need more. We need more players.
And if you look at Liverpool, as soon as they lost Salah and Mane, they were terrible. They are their 2 key players. And if they're not playing well, Liverpool are terrible. And this is why I was trying to say to you earlier, with City, they've got a plethora of players that are able to get him out of jail, have creativity, get goals and still defend well. And that's where we can't compare ourselves to City, because they will always have that.
Do you not feel like we're breezing over the fact, though, that our forward players, our attacking players, meaning the Greenwoods, the Martials, the Rashfords, I can't really have Cavani in it, but they've just completely lost any sense of form and quality. Like, I don't know about you guys, but this again, it comes back to it, right? When we were being called Penalty FC and we were winning all these penalties, it was because we were running at players. We had a sense of confidence about us. We talk about Bruno and Pogba being able to change a moment like that. So could Martial and Rashford. They're flair players as well at heart. And when they're running at a defender, there's not 2 more scarier players running at you than Martial and Rashford. 9 times out of 10, they'll get brought down. All of a sudden, they're not doing that. All of a sudden, Greenwood's having shots on goal and scuffing it, when that's not the Mason Greenwood we actually know. He's a lethal finisher. Cavani had a great chance the other day, by the way, skied it as well. Like, I know he's only back from injury. I'm not trying to push the blame on him, but I'm just trying to say that I do feel like we're breezing past the fact that we do have a good attack. We have good attacking options, and they just, well, actually, I'll come back to it. They don't seem like good players at the moment. None of them look good enough, which is not true.
Ben, so this is where I see what I see that side of the coin, if for lack of a better term. Yes, our attacking players aren't in the best form, and it's been like that all season. We struggle to create, but then I look, and here's where I have the criticism of Ali, right? I think we're too reliant on individual players to make us successful, if that makes sense. So we rely on a Rashford worldie, a Bruno worldie, a Pogba worldie. You know what I'm saying? If I watch
shot on target,
right, yeah, right. I'll take that. But like, if you look at my point,
come on, Timmy, come on.
My point. If you look at the way the likes of a Brighton play, they don't have nearly the level of players we have, and they create so many chances. I mean, it looked like they play better football than us, and I'm not joking when I say that. Like, I am not exaggerating. They just don't have the players. They have the system, and I think that's the issue. I think there's a balancing. There's an issue with our system getting enough chances for those forwards.
On that, when people say they don't look coached, they don't look like they have a system, they don't look like they have patterns, what do you mean by that? So when you say that they have a system, what do you mean by that?
They move the ball. They pass the ball and move the ball better than us. It's that simple.
Okay.
I'm not. Go ahead.
I'm glad you said exactly that sentence, because my next point was going to be, when I watch us, I think this ball is moving too slowly. I don't know how many times I've tweeted it over the last couple of months. The ball's moving too slowly. People are too static. I'm sorry. But professional footballers in the Premier League do not need to be told by a coach how to move off the ball. They just don't.
No, but see,
They don't need to be told to move the ball quickly to shift to defense. That's grassroots stuff. Why are we not doing it? That's my question.
I think the issue is, like, I think Ollie is one of the best managers around when his players have confidence. Do you know, I think he's able to instill that, and that's why we go on 2 or 3 runs which are exceptional. Our waveform is so good, and we went like 15 or 18 games or something like that without losing. It was phenomenal. But like when things are down, I think it's really difficult for him to pull us out of that. I said, once we're high, it's phenomenal. Everything goes great. But once we're down, he seems to struggle to get us out of it, because it's not that they're bad players suddenly that they can't pass to each other or they overhit balls, or it's confidence is low, and that's it. When your strikers aren't able to finish when they have been finishing season 4 last, it's because confidence is low. And that Solskjaer needs to learn how to pull his players back into being confident, rather not just being keeping the confidence going.
You're absolutely right, Joe. Ultimately, 2 months ago, these players were playing very good football. 6 months ago, after lockdown, they're playing very good football. These players haven't changed. These aren't different players. They are, for one reason or another, whether it's injuries, fatigue, confidence, they're just suffering from that. And as Ben alluded to earlier, thank God we've only managed to lose 1 game still with 1-3, and we're still sitting in second. You know, we're going through a bad stage. Everyone goes through this. Fortunately, we're still where we are.
And sorry, just before you jump in, John, on that as well, in the fact that, you know, the same group of players, and, you know, when it goes, Joe, I agree, when it does go bad, we don't seem to be able to pick them up. But I feel in that situation, Ollie needs to have someone on the pitch to rely on, and that's where we go back to the topic of, do we have any leaders in the team? Maguire isn't one, and I know everyone is on this bandwagon of Bruno captain. I wouldn't have him as my captain, simply because when it's going wrong for him, he has a moan. That's not motivating. If you look at him when something goes wrong and he's not happy with what's going on around him, he doesn't lift people. He's there to guide them during the game, but when something's going wrong, he doesn't lift anyone. He has a moan, and that's not captain material, no matter what people... That might be an unpopular opinion, but he's not captain material. We need a leader in there. John, you can jump in.
I say make Lee Grant captain. The way he held up that substitution board is a real leader. Come on, if one of your squad players is willing to hold up that substitution board, they deserve a pay rise. Come on, that's got to be the most belittling moment of his career.
For 30 grand a week, I'd love to be belittled like that. Okay,
I bet you would.
I just wanted to jump on the squad depth and the substitutes. So obviously, when these guys aren't informed, the forwards, obviously Ollie's reluctant to make subs. But when you looked at the bench the other night and you had Shola and Diallo on there, even though they're showing great potential at the moment, you're relying on players who haven't played in the Premier League before, let alone players who can take us from second to first. So I'm also looking at Ollie. Yeah, I agree with Mark's point. Definitely, he needs to find a way of getting players back into form. That is something that he does need to look at. But then, what are his options? Because he's looking at the bench, and he doesn't trust the players on the bench to do a better job than the players who are out of form, who are playing for him at the moment. And I think he even said on one of his interviews after the game that who do you expect him to take off, Martial or Bruno or whoever? He just doesn't trust anyone outside of his starting 11 at the moment. And then you've got to think
I disagree a little bit, John. I think in fairness to him, and sorry for interrupting, Dan James took his chance and he got 4 games in a row out of it. So I do think if you're brought up and you're shown that yes, you're quality and yes, you're willing to fight and die for his team and you're playing better, then he'll get he's given the opportunity.
Can I, Jonathan, can I quickly ask you a question? Do you think that he should have bought Diallo or Shurateri on towards the end of the
do, because it wasn't working. So
yeah, I think he should.
I agree. He should have done. Yeah, but you got to think, why isn't Ollie doing that? It's because he obviously knows his players. He for some reason he doesn't make any changes throughout the game as much as what we want for a reason, and that's because he doesn't. He thinks that the players who are still tired, who are fatigued, are still going to do a better job than the players on the bench. Now I don't know why he thinks that, but he obviously believes that because he does it week in, week out.
But do you know, I agree with Gary Neville on this, by the way. I do feel like we are not a team And maybe this slightly goes against what you said earlier on, Mark, but I don't think it really does, because I still think you can play good football and still be a team that plays in moments as well. I just think you've got to pick your moments, and when you get that right, it's actually quite beautiful in terms of a footballing point of view. I do feel like we are a team that plays the majority of time, especially at the moment with the squad we've got and the players and the options we've got, where we play in moments. And I think 9 times out of 10 this season, those moments have come from 3 players: Bruno, Rashford and Pogba. And I think that's why when they're on the pitch, he really does refuse to take any of them off. And because you see him, he's always taking off Greenwood on the 60th minute. Ben pulls him straight off. He's not shy to take Cavani off either. He's not shy to take a Fred off. He's not shy to take a McTominay off. But those 3, whenever they're on the pitch, he doesn't take them off. And that's because...
And
unless the game's over.
Who can blame him? Because, you know, they are the 3 players that will create you something from nothing.
I'm sorry, Mark, though. When you're having as bad a game as Marcus Rashford was having against Crystal Palace, you take him off. He was shocking.
We've seen him have bad games before and still pull something
Not
out.
that bad.
No, you're right. I'm not disputing that. You're right.
I do get where Mark comes from.
We've seen Bruno play.
What was an example where he scored the goal in that last minute?
Yeah.
The problem is that how far do you go with that? Because we've seen Bruno have terrible games and he comes off the pitch with 3 goal contributions. So it's like that. You could have taken Rashford off in that game and, we make the change.
Cough it. He couldn't keep the ball at his feet. Like, I appreciate having a bad game, but then it's doing all the basics wrong. And Rashford in that second half, he had a poor first half, but he was still able to string a ball together. In that second half, I think for the first 30 minutes, until he took the ball past Van Aanholt and then lost it, I don't think he kept hold of the ball once. I'd love to see a statistic that proves me wrong. I think he lost the ball with every opportunity. He had his obviously hissy fit, which I have no problem with, but still, like, he was frustrated in himself. Clearly, he just wasn't having a good game. And I think in moments like that, you're actually wrong trusting the player there. You've got to take him out the firing line, take him off and just go, look, mate, wasn't your day today. Have a 20 minutes, have a rest, a little bit more of a rest. Get off. Don't let it be worse for yourself. Because at the end of the day, I still think that Crystal Palace game was the worst way to go into this City game now. And the problem is he left those players out on that pitch who looked so lack of confidence, lack of energy. He just left them there. And sometimes when it gets to that position, they can rot away in circumstances like that. And we've just got to hope that they're able to pick themselves up in time for Sunday's game. Because
Does anyone have an idea of what the problem is? Because I do genuinely full on believe that the problem is we don't have the squad depth and our players are shattered. Because we're coming up. We've been playing 2 games a week for a long time, or close to 2 games a week, and without any real break. And when we have our you've 13, maybe 14 players there that can kind of shift in and out of the starting 11. That's not enough. Do you know what I mean? We haven't got enough rotation, and this is only natural that the players are going to get tired and they're going to get the confidence is going to dip, and everything that happens that way. You look at City. City were able to drop Sterling against whoever it was on the weekend. I can't remember, like, their best players. We can't do that. I know there's no point in comparison to City, but that's the way I'm looking at it. I think the main issue is there needs to be a break. There needs to be the international break has come up. I hope Ollie doesn't let any of the players go.
Yeah.
Do you know?
I said this last night. I do firmly believe it's that. You know, it's at the moment, we're not too dissimilar to any other team in the league. Yeah. Everyone
except City. Except City,
but that goes to my point at the beginning.
Exactly. Yeah.
They've got the squad. Okay.
Yeah.
Every other team are suffering. Every other team have got injuries. Every other team are so inconsistent. And it's fortunate because we're still in second. So I do firmly believe that. I think that fatigue is a huge, huge thing at the moment.
Devil's advocate, though. Devil's advocate on that quickly. Sorry, guys. Devil's advocate is, and Stephen said this today, right? Devil's advocate on it is City have played the exact same amount. They started the season the same day as us, and they've played the exact same game pattern as us so far this season. Apart from obviously that they had, I said 10 days off over Christmas, but they didn't. They had 6 days apparently still. It did a long holiday. They could have all gone to Dubai and made the most of it. But still, Stephen said to me the difference is between the two sides is City have a manager who have got his team playing. He's got the rotation right with the players he's got. He said it's all right having a quality squad with depth in each position, but do you really think that someone like a Mahrez or a Gabriel Jesus or a Laporte or a Kyle Walker are happy sitting on the bench week in, week out? No, they've got to play, and he's given them game time, so they've got confidence. They're all firing on the same cylinder. Okay. They're all confident. And they have an extra 10 yards in their legs.
Yeah,
so devil's advocate is
but also like with Kyle Walker, with Jesus, they're not exactly Dan James and whoever is sitting behind.
But he bought those players. This is my problem, right? I feel like you guys are not. I just feel like there's a lot of like excuses sometimes.
Let loose, Temmie.
The squad is.
I'm
good.
going to get another drink during this.
Go ahead. This is a good squad. Yes. There is holes that need to be filled. But every team, you can even see with Liverpool, they have holes that need to be filled. But the reason that they a team like City or a team, I don't know, they have a system in place that whoever they take out and put in, it doesn't look any different. Their goals look the same. The way they play week to week look the same. We don't know what we're gonna get game to game. We don't. One day we might win 3-0. We're passing the ball quickly. The next day, it looks like we're out of ideas.
Temmie
lies with me.
But the reason why it is like that is because they have the best manager in the world. Okay, they put players.
That's the point I made. That's the point I made.
But no. But to add more to that, okay, they were changing their style of play since 2012 in the U teams because they knew they were going to get Guardiola in. That was their big goal to have that. They have 4 planned this. 2 managers before they got the manager they wanted in. Okay,
yeah,
they are the best structured team. Sorry, the best structured corporation in the world. Okay, and the reason they are where they are is because they think like that. The reason we are where we are, which is still second, and you can say we're looking to be second, but we are second and we're building, is because we don't have the structure in our club to give the manager what he needs. Okay, I think we're getting it now, but we need to look at ourselves as being City in 2013. Rather than City in City in 2019, 2020.
But again, you can have that manager, you can have that system. But what we're doing wrong at the minute, as we've said on so many post matches, is we're doing the basics wrong. That's not you don't coach the basics at professional level,
and
which is why I think yes,
your confidence.
The manager does deserve some criticism. I agree, but at the professional level, you don't coach basics. You just don't. It doesn't happen.
I disagree with that. Do you remember Pep's? Remember that All or Nothing documentary that Man City did? I don't know if you guys ever watched it, but Pep is literally he is so meticulous in everything, every pass that happens. All of these players are so drilled to the point that they like when they get the ball, they know where everyone is, where they're gonna pass. Like that's to me, that's the basis of football. Where you're gonna pass it. When you receive the ball, if you look this way, I'm giving the pass here. If I collect the ball at my feet this way, I'm making it. Like they have a picture in their head. Like De Bruyne makes passes before he even looked up because he knows, Sterling's going to be at the back post. You know what I'm saying? That
I get what you're saying.
Yes, that is the basics of football, but yes, Pep is that meticulous that he drills his players on everything, literally everything.
But not everyone's like Pep.
That's where you're different in this system. That's what Temmie's described there is system related. So in terms of knowing the picture, that's totally right. I agree with that. They know where they should be. And I'm sure we do that stuff as well. My point is what we're doing wrong isn't necessarily with players should be in a particular position at this time. I feel like it's just really basic things like we're not moving the ball quick enough. Our players are there ready to go, but when Fred's on the ball and McTominay's on the ball, we're not moving it quick enough. That's not something we need to explain.
That's a coaching thing to me. So for example, right, Jose plays a very even when he was in his pomp, he didn't play fast, energetic because that is his style. Like in my personal opinion, I've always said I think Ollie's a relatively pragmatic manager. He's more risk averse than anything else, and I think he's shown that over the past year and a half. You know what I'm saying? I know people don't like to hear that because the Manchester United DNA is quick, energetic, fast football. But I think Ollie is a pragmatic manager. I mean, and I think there's evidence to show that, honestly. But
also, let's not forget, Temmie, sorry to butt in, just to add your point there. Karthik and Mark, you spoke about this the other day. Although the manager obviously chooses his coaching staff and has a big role to play when it comes down to the foundations of this team, I'm still not convinced by our coaching setup either, and I think that still has a part to play in it as well, Temmie. I think and I just wanted to make that point because this isn't just you going in at Ollie, because I know there's that person that you are. This is you talking about the overall coaching at the club.
Yes. So to follow up on that point, we had sorry, Mark, to cut you off.
That's right. Just go on, you first.
Go ahead, Mark. Go ahead.
So we did make a comment about the staff. And I think you're right. I'll go into that shortly. But what I will say, Temmie, is this coaching setup hasn't changed in the last 3 years. Okay, so even though we're not playing very well now, we were 6 months ago, we were a year ago, we were when we first came in. That hasn't changed. The coaches haven't changed.
I wouldn't say
it's not consistent. You're right, but at some point you have to blame the players. It's not all on the coaches. Now, what we were talking about the other night is Mike Phelan. Between the years of 2009 and 2013 under Fergie, was the football great? No, because Mike Phelan was there. He's a very pragmatic coach. And I said this to Karthik the other night, and actually you, Temi, as well. I feel that as soon as they can, and this is no disrespect to Phelan. I'm sure he's a lovely man. I'm sure he knows his stuff, but he is not the right man as a number two to play attacking football and to drive the team forward. And I do think that that's a real focal point that he needs to be moved on.
I don't actually think he's part of the coaching staff, though, because I don't see him involved. I've seen him a couple of times in a match day. I think he's actually an advisor. Exactly. Yeah. I've heard, I mean, I'm not an ITK, but I've heard whispers from people who know ITKs that he's been doing a lot of the admin stuff, the transfer stuff, and he's been going around and doing that kind of thing. So is he really counted in that?
Can I also hit on something like that? I heard originally, so when Ollie came in as caretaker, and again, I don't know any of that stuff, but I heard from someone who's quite good, knows a few people at the club who works in as a journalist, that Mike Phelan was originally brought in to act as an advisor, and apparently, from what I heard at that point, was the liaison between the coaching staff and someone to go between Ollie and the board, and one of those board members being Sir Alex Ferguson. And at the time when Ollie was taken over as caretaker, you could see that influence. You could see what he was trying to do, and that influence you could see was coming more from Sir Alex than it was anyone else. And I think that's why Mike Phelan was there, because Mike Phelan and Sir Alex have such a good relationship, those two. And that's what I heard initially. What that setup is now, I don't know, but you've just got to look at what he done after coaching. He went out and what was he at the Mariners, Karthik? I can't remember what he was doing. Was he secretary or something? Director of football. So I wouldn't be surprised if it's more McKenna and Carrick. But even if it is McKenna and Carrick, that's two really inexperienced coaches. Really inexperienced.
And that's no disrespect to McKenna and Carrick, you know what I'm saying? But here's if we just look at it big picture, right? We complain about our owners, right? They're inexperienced. They have no clue about anything football related, right? Lack of experience. They then hired people who have no experience in football, have no idea about the transfer market, players, how it works. Those people then hired coaches and managers who don't have that much experience. So every single level of our club, there's a lack of experience and a lack of know-how. And to me, that's a problem. If we want to continue with Ollie, I say this every podcast or every show I'm on. I'm not Ollie in and Ollie out. I'll assess it at the end of the season, right? But I truly believe if he's ever going to succeed, you can't have the old boys club. You can't have Fletcher coming in. You can't have Carrick coming in. That's not good enough. It's just not good enough for us to ever be able to compete with Pep, compete with Klopp. If those two leave, I promise you, City and Liverpool are going to just go and get another top class manager, and we're still going to be saying, well, Ollie's not that manager.
I actually disagree with you. I do think once Pep leaves, City will implode, but naturally, like United did, and Liverpool, when Klopp leaves, might become a mid-table club again.
Liverpool will get Gerrard, and City will
maybe Liverpool, but City, I promise you, they are going nowhere.
By the way, can I just add the beauty of this podcast? We're an hour in, and we have literally discussed the City game for about 5 minutes, and we've all gone on. We've spoken more about how bad Mark's hair is than we have the Man City game. Sorry, Mark, I love you.
Mark,
I hope your missus ain't watching. Your hair looks great.
No, I have to say, Mark, I really love when you have your camera off.
Yeah, thanks, mate. Yeah, what a bunch of bastards. I ain't going to be on next week, let me tell you.
Yeah,
that's if you're invited.
All right, guys, I see a comment here that says, but we did try LVG and Jose. I think we did try.
Oh, don't we start on that?
I think the difference there for me personally is now, if you look at the squads, specifically LVG, the squad LVG had versus the squad we have now, it's like night and day. I'm so sorry. Like the level, he was playing like Borthwick Jackson. He was playing an old Carrick, an old Rooney. Depay wasn't good enough. Like the squad level is just. I think this is the best squad we have had post Sir Alex Ferguson by a lot. Like,
even potentially better than that final squad Sir Alex had.
Oh yeah,
that wasn't great. Yeah.
Mark Van Persie. I agree with you, Ben. Like it's
not a better team, but I'm on about a better squad. If you go player for player,
individual players, 100%. I completely agree with that, and that's why I think again, if we are going to, I'm going to say it again. If we persist with Ali, he needs to go and get a number 2 that has been there, that has done that, and is going to be working with the players every single day on that pitch, drilling them the way Ali wants the team to play. So if you're saying, Mark or Karth, if you say, it's too slow, I believe that's a coaching thing. Pick it up, make it faster. Coaches do tell players to do that. I think that's a player thing.
I agree. I agree with what you just said there. We are a better team, but there's also a lot more better teams in there. Who would have thought the likes of Wolves and Leicester and Tottenham would all of a sudden would have come up there? So our opponents have got a lot better as well. This is the best league, in Europe, or if not the world at the moment. So I agree. Our players have got better, but some of our opponents.
I agree with that. I think there are a lot of other teams that have got better as well.
Yeah.
I completely agree.
Yeah, I mean, I don't disagree with that. Still shit officiating though, eh? Anyway, so we're confident going into City game then. We're confident going into the City game. I think we've all,
What we're trying to say is we're going to win the best of the rest league.
Oh,
bloody hell, Carl.
that's the most.
Oh my God!
The most depressing thing you have said.
I think,
and let's not forget Europa League champions of the world. The hashtag goes on.
Guys, quickly, we're seeing as this season progresses, Karthik turn into the model of an Arsenal fan.
Yeah.
We're going to win the league. We're going to win the Champions League. We're going to be the best of the rest. We're going to win the Europa League.
We're not getting relegated.
Yeah. We're finishing in the top 10.
Get me some Man United headphones and I'll be tight.
Oh my goodness.
No, don't. No.
We need to make that happen.
Oh
we need to make that happen.
Oh
that would be brilliant. No, but seriously, on the City game, just honestly, how I call me ridiculous, but again, as a United fan, I don't approach any game negatively. I believe we could win any game on our day. I just feel that way. And although we've not been in the best run of form, maybe I shouldn't be like this, but I still think we can. I still think we can nick it. Look, don't get me wrong. City are in unbelievable form, but they haven't. They've played really well and blown teams away with the football they've played. Don't get me wrong, but they haven't really gone into a game, especially against a bigger side. I mean, Liverpool's maybe the anomaly more than anything, but I don't know. I don't feel like that. I don't know. I just don't feel like they have absolutely blown a team away magnificently.
You're right.
And I also feel like our defence hasn't been beaten in a very long time by a team in the top 6. Yes, of course, City are fantastic. They've got a lot of attacking players. We've also got to remember City have got a really imbalanced front 3 at the moment. We don't know how that's going to line up, how that might look, who's going to play where. So we don't know what's going to work out there. I've got trust in our defence to keep City out, actually, which is maybe strange for me to say. I'm just not sure now if I've got the trust in our front line to break them down. That's my problem with it.
Not even a little bit. Yeah,
so I think it could go one or two ways. It could be a 0-0, it could be a 1-0 United, or it could end up being 6 or 7-0 to City. That's the problem with this game on Sunday, is that there's just so many question marks over so many different areas with both teams.
I feel like that's how we go into every game.
I
genuinely feel like if we go and face Crystal Palace, I'm thinking, they could get a draw against us. It's just that we don't know what to expect game to game with this United side.
I think this is the worst time to play City, which means we're definitely going to win.
And the best time for City to play us.
Let's have score predictions.
Oh, don't do this to me. No.
Well, obviously, Mason Green was going to score first.
Yeah.
That's just always my prediction.
Eventually it'll happen.
Said it's down, sticking with it. I fancy a 1-0 United. I honestly feel like we can go there and we can nick the 3 points. And also, if you go back and look at our form at the Etihad recently, we've actually gone into most games that we've played there on a little bit of a shaky run and managed to get the win. I fancy us to grab the win there. I really do. I fancy us to grab 3 points. And no, it's not going to be easy. It's going to be extremely shaky. But I just think that we can do enough to nick it. I think we can. Yeah,
Harry
we're not
Maguire,
going to have much of the ball.
You're right.
Maguire and Lindelof are going to need to be world class. Just know that.
But again, we criticised the Chelsea performance. Our defence were actually really good against Chelsea.
Oh no,
Really good.
This is not a Maguire and Lindelof. They've kept clean sheets against Chelsea, City, Liverpool.
Name all the top 6, Tammy. You can do.
Like, as much as we criticize Maguire and Lindelof as a partnership, they've actually done really well against the top teams. So again, I think it's more about. To your point, you said we're gonna win 1-0. I genuinely, if I'm being head over anything, I talked to Mark about this yesterday on the preview Q&A show, but I'm going to 1-0 loss. I can't see us scoring against us.
Boo, Tammy. Boo. I am booing you. Everyone in the comments boo Tammy. Everyone boo Tammy.
I'm not going to sit here and lie to you guys. I'm going to tell you the what I think. I can't see us breaking them down the way we're playing right now. And I don't think they faced Arsenal the other day and they scored early. And I thought they were going to win 6-7-0. I don't think this City team is built like that. So I don't think.
But then they struggled. They really found it tough to break them down again. Tell me quickly, what percentage is that bottle of stuff you're drinking? Because it's not strong enough.
Yeah. Well, this is 0%. This is Canada Dry, but this was 3.2%.
Oh well, that's why. That's why you're going for a 1-0 defeat, mate. That's not touched the sides.
John's had a lot. Go on.
Tammy, you're the Ty Cobb of all for United.
Who said that?
Who's that?
No. They said Karthik. They said Karthik's the new.
They said Karthik is the new Ty.
No, I said Temmie is Ty Cobb. It's a baseball reference. I was hoping he might get.
Oh yeah, I don't watch baseball, man.
You said you watch every sport. I put my hair in the line with that reference.
Every sport except for baseball.
You didn't say that to me. Hold on. I put my heart on the line with that reference.
No, you're right.
No.
So, how about this? Pretty much every sport. Like pretty much.
After the fact, Temmie. Thank you very much.
Wait a second.
I don't watch.
Temmie, name a female netball player.
Netball?
You said you watch every sport.
Nearly every sport.
What is netball?
Thank you, Ben.
Oh, what is netball?
It's your favorite sport, Temmie.
It's what we call basketball.
What's netball?
yeah, it's what we call basketball.
Temmie,
that's what you call basketball? Oh, basketball. Netball.
No, it's not.
No, it's not. It's literally not.
I'm joking. I'm just trying to confuse you. I'm just trying to confuse you. Football, soccer thing, you know.
Remember when you said, "Oh, I love every sport bar baseball"? Yeah, well, this is how it feels.
I'm sorry. What is netball? Somebody help me, guys.
Netball is basketball, but you can't run and you can't bounce the ball.
And you're in goal. You're throwing in goals.
We don't play that here.
Mark's played a lot of netball. It's nearly as good as bench ball.
But Temmie, Shaq is better than Michael Jordan, though, isn't he?
No.
No, he is. That's what you always say on Instagram. Temmie, if you go to Temmie's Instagram right now, he's always going on about how Shaq is better than Michael Jordan. Constantly. No, you never say it. It's very subtle how you say it.
I've never said Shaq is better than Michael Jordan.
No, you've never said it, but you post on Instagram the whole time, all the time. Go to his Instagram and you see it.
By the way, how was Shaq a professional athlete?
He was if you look at why, because he's so big, or
he's just massive. He's huge.
So if you watch,
she did say that.
If you watch
the memory, then did you see his reaction?
When Shaq was younger, he was much more skinny, for lack of a better term. And then as his
that's a pretty good term.
As his career progressed, he got progressively bigger. And
I don't mean his weight.
That's how he's better than Michael Jordan.
I don't even mean his weight. I mean his even I know basketball players are high, but Shaq is like a man mountain. He's massive.
There's taller players than Shaq, actually.
There is now, but
there was then. You'd be shocked. Yeah. There was a lot of taller.
I've never been a basketball fan, to be quite honest. But yeah,
fair enough.
Yeah. But
sorry, we're doing score predictions, aren't we?
Sorry, yeah, Jonathan, what's your score prediction for Sunday?
Yeah, I actually agree with a lot of what Ben just said there.
What, on Shaq or?
No, I think look, we're going to be the underdogs, of course. I get that. We're not in good goal scoring form, but I do believe that we can contain them so long as we're well drilled at the back. So I'm not going to go for a 1-0 because Ben's gone for that, but I can potentially see a 1-1. And also, obviously, being the host of our women's show, our women's team play about 4 hours before that game. So just a bit of a shout out there. I'm predicting a 3-0 win against Aston Villa early on in the day as well. So let's try to get a good result.
Tobin Heath goal. It's Tobin Heath goal. That's what I want to see.
I love her so much.
Yeah, she'll score as well. Yeah.
How many women have you told that to, Joe?
Only one on this video.
Joe, be honest, because
Do
you've
now.
told me that you do this often when other people are talking. Have you been swiping through Tinder whilst we've been live? He usually does this. Did you know when he puts someone on full video? Like, so for instance, if you're watching, I'm going to pick Karthik here because look at his face. He'll do this, Joe, and he'll be swiping on Tinder as the other person's talking. I don't know if you guys have heard this.
He'll be swiping. He'll no man.
He tells me he's live tweeting. But
Nah, well, yeah, if that's what they call it nowadays.
Anyway,
Mark, let's go.
score prediction. I said last night, my head says that we'll probably lose this. But I do agree with Ben. I think, City have got...
Sorry, I've got the song in my head now. My mind's telling me no, but the body's telling me yes.
Yes. I wasn't trying that. I did say it a bit slow. It did sound, maybe we need to clip that one up.
What, like you didn't do with your hair? What happened then?
Fuck off. I agree with what Ben said earlier. I do think that City are incredibly confident. Their fans do have a lot of confidence at the moment, and there could be a possibility we might win. So I'm going to go 2-1.
Do we have outro music now?
Am I in an elevator?
What just happened there?
Joe, stop playing the guitar and tell us your score prediction.
Joe, sing it. No, Joe, sing your score prediction. Sing your score prediction, please.
Okay, I only know 2 chords.
You've got to, even if it's a defeat, you've got to sing it.
1-0.
To City.
My cheeks really hurt. Oh,
Hats off to you, sir. That was brilliant.
that's the funniest thing you've ever done.
Oh, brilliant.
Not hard.
He's heard that before as well, Mark.
You'll hear it later on today as well, won't he?
Hey, remember Mark's hair, everyone?
I think Mark's hair looks really good.
Thanks, Ben. I'll give you that.
Oh, man, no worries. It's fine.
Oh
This
my
is how
God.
Joe serenades his Tinder victims. Brilliant. What,
They're
with
only
or,
victims
without,
after the fact.
with or without the 1-0? Is it 1 minute left? Or is it...
It's while he's doing it, and then 1-0. See you in a bit.
No, it's because I've only had it with one woman, so it's just 1-0.
Yeah. Back of the net.
Oh.
Karthik, what's your score prediction?
4-0 United.
Sing it.
No, sorry, that's stupid. I'm not going to say that. 3-0 United.
Yeah, 3-0. Cool.
Karthik just Karthik. We're gonna win the Champions League.
Who said that?
Give us some logic, please. Please don't ruin this. We all came with good logical reasoning here. Then Karthik said 3-0 United. What is this?
If it happens,
What is this?
you owe me an apology.
No, you know what? If it happens, man, I will literally get on this stream here and I will I don't know what I'll do. But
No.
apologize.
Hey,
The next episode
Tammy,
of
don't say that. Don't say that.
No, Tammy, whatever happens, we'll put it behind a paywall. So they'll want to, they'll pay to be here. I will say, on predictions, okay, I've never been so angry with the Southampton game. I predicted 8-0.
and then he's in the chat going, "Oh my god, I said 8-0, then we scored 9."
The 91st minute, that fucking Dan James. I was so annoyed.
Right, anyway,
guys.
we've been here for far too long.
I've genuinely never smiled as much doing
This is
Manchester
brilliant.
United-based content.
I was going to say you've never smiled as much. You've 2 children.
Yeah, they do make me smile.
And a wife.
And a wife.
Can I just, before we go, can I quickly ask Jonathan, because obviously we've not had the time to ask him properly. Jonathan, I thought it was quite amusing the other day. I was looking on Twitter and obviously saw United were going through it. Obviously, well, no, United, the men's team, were going through a rough bit of form. Currently, the under-23s, now that Diallo and Shaw Terry aren't really playing any games, they're going through a rough run of form. The women's team are as well at the moment, aren't they, as well? How important is a win for them this weekend?
It's massively important because we've gone from almost one extreme to the other. We've gone at the start of the season, you kind of hope that we'd get into a top 3, and I think we had the squad to compete for a top 3, which would be a massive success for our second season in the top flight. Top 3 is obviously European football, which is would be amazing. We was in a title race over Christmas. We was top of the league when the men's team were top, so both teams were top. And then we've lost 3 games out of 4, mainly due to the amount of injuries. Temi mentioned Tobin Heath, quality player, potentially player of the season, potentially player of the WSL before her injury, but now she's out with several other strikers, so we are suffering at the moment. However, there's been a 3-week break, international duty. The mentality's changed around. We've had 2 new contracts that's been signed. A lot of our players have scored goals or been on winning teams. So I do believe that the mentality has completely changed in the last 3 weeks. So I am expecting a win against Villa. But the following game is going to be the massive one against Arsenal. So 3rd against 4th. If we win that one, the chances are we'll make Europe. So us or me and a few of the guys that you watch on YouTube will be travelling around Europe next year, and hopefully we can do a few videos over there. But the next 2 games are absolutely massive, Villa and Arsenal. If we win both of those, it's looking good for us.
Brilliant. That's good. That's good. Can you quickly ask Jacob's question, Carfit, before we go to Temi?
Oh, yes. Do you know what snooker is, Temi?
Yes, I do know what. That's just pool, right? And then
technically it will be billiards. No, it's not billiards, is it? It's just completely different.
Snooker's not pool?
Oh, it's just pool, is it? It's just pool. Yeah. I know snooker. It's just if it was just pool, it'd be the same thing, okay?
Yeah, we don't rename everything, Temi. That's not how things work in the UK.
Fair enough.
It's
and
a different game.
Let me say cricket. Yes, I do know what cricket is.
No, they're not the thing.
I don't know the rules to cricket though. I will.
No one does. It's a mystery.
No,
what about rugby, Temi? Rugby?
Yeah. I had a bunch of friends in the rugby. Yeah,
it's like American football for men.
It's a really good American football.
Yeah,
it's a. You guys. I will say this: American football is way better than rugby. I'm letting you know.
Bullshit. Just because your Ravens are shit at the moment.
No, we're actually pretty damn good. For like, if you didn't know, we had.
By the way, now everyone's just littering the live chat with things that Temi might not know what they are. So Jacob's gone. Does Temi know what Marmite is?
No,
what the hell is Marmite?
Can we do a feature next week?
I'm glad you don't know what Marmite is.
Can we do a feature next week and get people to throw in what, and we'll all try and think of something that Temi might not know what it is and ask
him. Stewart, good reference. Actually,
what is hurling like?
No, Temi. Actually, this is an open question, not bully Temi. Guys, what's hurling?
Hurling's where they do the thing in it on the ice and then they sweep it.
That's when you
throw hurling. You fucking arsehole.
That's curling.
It's curling.
That's curling.
That's curling.
That's curling.
Thank you, Stuart O'Hara. Thank you.
The act of hurling is when you throw or you throw up.
No.
Dixon said, what NBA team do I follow? I'm a diehard Washington Wizards fan.
By the way, I love how Temi's just gone, I don't give a shit about the answer that Joe's just going to say. I'm going to answer my own question.
Temi, I was taking the heat off you son of a bitch. Okay, attack Temi. Ooh, Temi. Ooh, what's
Temi, answer this one.
What's my middle name?
Dorian.
I don't know, John. Shit, fuck.
Marmite is diarrhea for toast.
Oh, we've done way too long.
Whose first name is Dixon?
Does Temi know what Tinder is?
No, he's in a committed relationship, so he has no idea.
I'm not bringing my relationship issues up.
I saw a very interesting Instagram story the other week. I'm not going to say anything about it.
What?
I saw a very interesting Instagram story on Temi's story. I don't want to say anything about it.
You're right. What? You're right, Temi. Yes, play dumb. This is going great. If anyone tuning in right now, you've plausible deniability.
Now, I don't know what Temi's relationship status is, but I saw a very interesting Instagram story the other day regarding certain messages he received. Well, that's all I'll say.
It's fine. It's fine.
There you go. We've got him. Yeah. On that note, I'm going to wrap this up because I spent far too much time with these guys. Everyone like the damn video because this has been amazing. Next week we'll have a feature called Ask Temi or What Does Temi Know? Something like that. Yeah. I'll make a fucking hashtag about. I swore. Brilliant. I'm going to get told off by Ben. We've all had drinks. My can's empty.
Everyone.
Hope yours are as well. Thank you for joining us. And on the last note, I will say that mathematically, Manchester United can still win the not Champions League, Premier League. Thank you, Joe. I've said it too many times. I've just got Champions League in my head. Oh, play me a song and let me cry to it, Joe. Come on, outro music. Let's go. Hi, everyone.